Hi there. As many of you have probably seen, this is the Nepros NBR390AF. I think F just stands for the flex head here. It's absolutely a beautiful ratchet. It's probably my favorite that I own. But I'm sure you guys have read that some of the anvils can bind. There you can see that it's binding a little bit. There you go. See, which is kind of a common problem on some of them. It's actually a pretty easy fix. There's a couple things you can do. Nepros was kind enough to send me a new parts kit, which I'm really excited about. So I have that here, and I'm going to show you how to install it. Also show you a fix if you don't want to purchase the new rebuild kit. I find them to be very reliable ratchets, and I think there was just a run where they potentially got this little tiny spring that comes with it. It's so hard to see, it's so tiny, a little bit short. So one thing you can do is if yours is binding, you can pull the spring just a couple millimeters longer and it'll really help so the anvil doesn't bind. But one thing that you're going to want to use is this is a Phillips size #1, but it's actually a JIS, which is the like Japanese international standard screwdriver. So it's a little bit different profile in the head, and it really helps bite these screws. And I actually find that with the right screwdriver, these little Phillips actually are less likely to strip than, say, a Torx or an Allen because they fit deeper. So I'm going to go ahead and start by removing these parts. There's springs in there, so be really careful. And put them over here. Remove the other one. And like I said, it's a great fit. So with the right screwdriver, these vessels are pretty great. You don't have to worry about stripping them. So got the screws out. I use a little magnet, but you can just shake it and you can pull and use to get that plate off. And I'm actually going to reuse this plate because since I use a spinner on it sometimes, it can kind of get a little tarnished. So I want to keep the other one in good shape just to keep it pristine. And then to pull this, you're going to want to hold the little ratcheting mechanism with your thumb and just remove the driver. And then after you do that, you can let all the pieces go. And you can see inside, I'll use a magnet, kind of magnety. And those are the pieces. This little unit that engages it is hollow, and the spring perches and fits in between there. This is a little bit challenging to remove this, the switch unit here. One thing that I found is if you move it kind of to the middle, so it's kind of in the center here, you can take a thin object like a razor blade, get it in there, so when you push it down, it'll pop out. And be careful because you will lose that spring. And I got it. So for reassembly, I'd recommend just using something like one of these shop cloths to just clean out the insides. Now you want to use a really light oil in these, almost dry. Anything else, because the teeth are so fine, it'll cause an issue with binding. So yeah, so that's how we do that. And we're going to grab the unit, which goes in the back. This can be a little bit of a challenge, and we're going to grab one of these little springs. We're going to, well, we just lost the spring. Yay, I found the spring. Like I said, it can be a pretty big challenge. So I'm going to put the spring inside. And the spring will actually, this particular spring goes in the first time, goes in that side. Very carefully. There we go. We got that mechanism all locked in. And the next one can be a little tricky to put in, but what I've found is using a set of tweezers. My tweezers are partially magnetized on accident just from being around magnets. So put the spring on, use the part that is engaged, engagement pin. I'm going to wrap that on top of the spring. And again, we're doing this together, so it may take a bit here. You could use a little bit of grease on the spring to keep it in the mechanism. We're back. I went and got some grease. Grease I prefer for these types of things is actually like this Sta lube, and it's 3121. That just means the size of the container, so it happens to be the 14-ounce tub. And the marine grease works really well. It's a calcium sulfonate complex, so it's really durable, used for marine applications. So what I will do is, so it sticks in the mechanism better, is I will use a very small amount of grease and put it on the spring to keep it inside the perch. And I want to make sure that I don't get it actually on the ratcheting mechanism. And that's because those ratchets, like I said, are so fine that they will end up binding. There we go. And you can even paint the tiniest bit of grease on the end. But like I said, you don't want to get it in the ratchet. Then I'll take the unit, and you want to get that unit so it goes into its little guide. And then once it does, you can get it in the guide. Want to make sure it goes in straight. Be a little bit of a challenge here. Yeah, see, it's not going in straight, which is fine. And I have the camera in front of me, so it makes it a little more challenging. Give it another try here. And you're going to want to hold it with your thumb. Put the anvil in. See if it works. Look at that. Switch. No binding. Make sure it's pushed in. Like I said, I'm going to use the older plate. Something that you can lube the ratchet mechanism with is like a very light oil. I'm going to use this bike lube here. And you really only need a couple drops in here. Not much. Perfect. I'm going to put the plate back on. Screw it all back together. Again, my JIS Phillips screwdriver, number 1. Make sure they go in straight. And I'm pretty used to this really fine, delicate stuff since I do suspension work for mountain bikes, which makes this stuff seem pretty big and easy. And definitely takes some patience, but it's very easy to do. Tighten it up. You don't want it super tight, you just want it snug. I kind of try to tighten them a little evenly. Make sure the plate is straight. Snug them down so they don't come loose. See how she works. Look at that. No binding at all. Oh, so buttery. Very excited about that. There you go. That's how you do it.